The Steducentre Grade 9 2014 A&A Exam Review Maths
Part 3.
Question 5.1. Solve for x. X minus 2 close bracket squared plus 3x minus 2 is equal to x plus 3 squared. You first start by multiplying what's in the brackets out. So x minus 2 squared is x minus 2 times x minus 2. And the x plus 3 squared is x plus 3 in brackets x plus 3. If you multiply x minus 2, you will have x squared minus 2x minus 2x plus 4. If you multiply x plus 3, you will have x squared plus 3x plus 3x plus 9. You will then be required to add the like terms. So, x squared minus x plus 2 is equal to x squared plus 6x plus 9. You can then say all the x's can go onto one side and all the numbers on the other side. You will then be left with x squared minus x minus 6x, which is equal to 9 minus 2. Minus 7x is equal to 7, and x is equal to minus 1. Question 5.2. Solve for x. X squared minus 5x minus 6 is equal to 0. So you need to find two numbers that added gives you minus 5 and multiplied gives you 6. So minus 6 plus 1 are those numbers. So x squared minus 5x minus 6 is equal to x minus 6 times x plus 1. In this case, x is equal to 6 or x is equal to minus 1. Question 5.3. Solve for x. X plus 2 over 3 minus x minus 3 over 4 is equal to 0. X plus 2 over 3 minus x minus 3 over 4 is equal to 0. The first thing you need to do is find a common denominator. In this case, it will be 12. So it will be 3 times 4 to get to the denominator of 12 and 4 times 3 to get to the denominator of 12. So it's 4x plus 2 in the numerator minus 3x times x minus 3 in the numerator. So 4x plus 8 over 12 minus 3x minus 9 over 12. Because the denominators are the same, you can put the calculation over one denominator of 12. So you'll have 4x plus 8 minus, in brackets, 3x minus 9. You then multiply out and you end up with 4x plus 8 minus 3x plus 9. You add your like terms and you'll end up with x plus 17 over 12. So x plus 17 is equal to 0 and x is equal to minus 17. To remove the 12, you will multiply on both sides, leaving you with x plus 17. Question 6.1. Complete the table below. You have the position in a pattern, first, second, third, fourth, fifth, and then the term 1, 8, 27. 6.2. Write down the general term n of the above number pattern. 6.3. If Tn is equal to 512, determine the value of n. Number patterns have a relationship with each other, something in common that works for the whole pattern. In this case, the pattern is increasing by the number raised to the power 3. Tn is equal to 512. Its cubed root is 8. For 6.1, to complete the pattern, you'd have to find the cubed root of 4 and 5, which is 64 and 125. If you needed to write down the general term, Tn is equal to n to the power 3. If Tn is equal to 512, you need to find its cubed root, which is 8. Question 7.1. Use the graph to calculate the gradient of the straight line. 7.2. Determine the equation of the straight line. 7.3. Write down the gradient of any other straight line which can be drawn parallel to the given line. If you're looking at the definition of a gradient slope, the gradient or slope between 2 points is how far up we have gone compared to how far we have gone across. So m is equal to rise over run, or m is equal to the change in y over the change in x. When you're looking at the equation of a straight line, it's y is equal to mx plus c, where m is the slope and c is the y-intercept. For 7.1, when you're using the graph to calculate the gradient of the straight line, m is equal to 5 over negative 1, which is equal to minus 1. If you want to determine the equation of the straight line, it will be y is equal to minus 5x plus 5. And if you needed to write down the gradient of another straight line which can be drawn parallel to the line that is given, it will be minus 5. The gradients of the lines would be the same because they are parallel. It is important to remember that when you're looking at the gradient and slope of parallel lines, they will always have identical gradient slopes. Two lines which go in the exact same direction have the exact same gradient and stay the same distance apart forever. That's line AB is parallel to line EF. Therefore, you can see that m is equal to 5 over negative 1, which is equal to minus 5. The gradient has remained the same. Decrease 240 kgs by 15%. To find a percentage of an amount, change the percentage into a fraction and then multiply them. The question is, what is 25% of 200? Change the percentage into a fraction, which becomes 25 over 100. Multiply the fraction and the amount. 25 over 100 times 200, it's equal to 50. To multiply an amount by a fraction, divide it by the denominator, the bottom part of the fraction, and multiply it by the numerator, the top part of the calculation. So question 8.1, 240 minus in brackets 15% of 240 is equal to 240 minus in brackets 15 over 100 times 240, which is equal to 240 minus 36, and your final answer is 204 kgs. Question 8.2. In Tabi's car uses 1 liter of fuel to travel 12 kilometers. How much fuel will be needed to travel 420 kilometers? 1 liter for 12 kilometers. Therefore, 420 kilometers divided by 12 kilometers per liter is equal to 35 liters that will be required. You could also use the ratio method. Here's an example. A to the ratio A is to 15, which is equal to 2 is to 5. You find the value of A. Write the ratios out vertically and then cross multiply. So 2 times 15 is equal to 5 times A. 30 is equal to 5A. If you divide by 5, you should get to A is equal to 6. In our example, 1 is to 12. So x is equal to 420. If you cross multiply, you end up with 12x is equal to 420. X is equal to 420 divided by 12, so x is equal to 35. Question 8.3. There are 44 boys and girls in Mary's class. The ratio of the number of boys to the number of girls is 5 is to 6. How many boys are there in Mary's class? A ratio is the relationship in which for every x units of one quantity there are y units of another quantity. Your terms of a ratio are the quantities of x and y. Equivalent ratios are ratios that express the same relationship. We have 44 students, and the ratio of boys to girls is 5 is to 6. If you divide 44 by 11, you will get to 4. 4 times 6
is equal to 24 girls, and 4 times 5 is equal to 20 boys. Question 8.4. Study the table below. The length of a side of a square in centimeters is 2, 3, 4. The area of the square in centimeters squared is 4, 9, or 16. Is this an example of a direct or an indirect proportion? Give a reason for your answer. Direct proportion is when two quantities are directly proportional. If an increase in one quantity corresponds to a constant increase in another quantity, or if a decrease in one quantity corresponds to a constant decrease in the other quantity, you have a direct proportion. An indirect proportion graph, the two quantities which are indirectly proportional always make a curved graph. The answer for question 8.4, the answer is neither, because the area is not a consistent length when you look at area versus the centimeter squared. Calculate how long it will take for an investment of 4,000 Rand at 3% per annum simple interest to earn an interest of 840 Rand. To calculate simple interest, there is a formula that can be used. Interest is equal to the principal times the rate times the time, where I is the interest money created, P is the principal starting amount, R is the interest rate per year in decimal form, and T is the time money is invested or borrowed in years. So here we have 1 year, which is equal to 120. The total of 840. 840 divided by 120 is equal to 7 years. Or you could say 840 is equal to 4,000 times 3% times x. 840 is equal to 120 times x. 840 divided by 120, and you can solve for x where x is equal to 7 years. You could also do it in the form of a table. In year 1, your opening balance was 4,000, your interest is 3% of 120, therefore your closing balance is 4,120. In order to see how long it will take the investment of 4,000 to earn simple interest of 840, you can just keep adding the interest until you get to the end of year 7, where it will equal to 840. Question 8.6. Calculate the final amount that I will have in my savings account if I invest 600 Rand for 2 years at a rate of 6% per annum compound interest. The formula for compound interest is A, the amount at the end, which is equal to P, the principal amount at the start, in brackets 1 plus R over N, where R is the annual interest rate as a decimal, and N is the number of times per year that interest is compounded, to the power NT, the time in years. Using the formula, A is equal to 600, in brackets 1 plus 0.06 over 1, close brackets, and raised to the power 1 times 2. A is equal to 600, in brackets 1 plus 0.06 over 1, close brackets, raised to the power 2. A is equal to 600 times 1.06 raised to the power 2. A is equal to 600 in brackets times 1.1236. So therefore A is equal to 674 Rand 16 cents.
Thank you for watching the Steducentre, turning ordinary learners into extraordinary leaders.